Let's look at some new graph database features that came with SQL Server 2017. With these new features, we could store graph data in a node table, and we would store edges of a graph in an edge table. These new features could really allow us to manage complex relationships between data, especially the many-to-many relationships. Let's look at one example. We are going to create a new database for our discussions. Go to the new database. We will create a node table for storing employees. Pay attention to the table definition. When we create a node table, we need to specify as node. Create the node table. And let's put some data in our new node table. When we insert a node in a node table, SQL Server would automatically assign an internal unique identifier for a node. We will look at that later. Put data in the node table. Now let's create an edge table. Keep in mind, we store graph edges in an edge table. We don't need to include any user-defined column in an edge table. SQL Server will store the unique identifiers for the two nodes an edge connects when data is inserted into an edge table. Create the edge table. Now let's put some data in our new edge table. Keep in mind, in edge table, we store edges. Therefore, we need to get the internal unique identifiers for the two nodes an edge connects. We get the unique identifiers from our node table. Okay, we got some data in our edge table. Now we are ready to query the graph data. First of all, we want to determine the employees who work directly for employee ID number 2. We will use the new match function. In the match function, we need to specify the direction. In this example, we are going from left to right, and we use different aliases for our node table. Keep in mind, our new node table is employee. An edge must have a direction. In this example, we can see it goes from left to right. We could go from right to left as well. In the where clause, we could specify other conditions. Let's run the code. We have 3 employees directly working for the employee ID number 2. Now, let's find out who are the team leads for employee ID number 7. This time, we are going from right to left with an edge. Just to reiterate, we would use different aliases for the same table. For example, we use E1 and E2 for employee. And we can see employee ID number 7 has 3 direct supervisors or team leads. Lastly, let's find out what employees work directly for employee ID number 7. And there are 2. As we have seen, these new graph database features could really allow us to manage complex data, complex relationships, especially the many-to-many relationships. This concludes our discussion. As a footnote, if we go to our new database, we will see a node for graph tables. Expand it. We can see the 2 tables. The first one is our node table, employee. The second one is our age table, workforce. Let's look at the content of these 2 tables. We can see when a node was inserted into the node table, SQL Server automatically assigned an internal unique identifier. This is the identifier column. Now, let's look at our age table. Here is the content for our age table. We didn't include any user-defined column. In our age table, there are 3 columns. The first one, this is the unique identifier for ages. These 2 columns have the unique identifiers for the 2 nodes and age connects. This is the end of our footnote.